Welcome to another edition of the Blue Jay Insider. Ernie LaRossa, Director of Athletic Communications here at Johns Hopkins, joined by Ryan Cain, new men's basketball coach here at Hopkins, 17th men's basketball coach in Blue Jay history. Ryan, welcome. I'm sure it's been a whirlwind. Just tell us a little bit about what your life's been for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been incredibly exciting, but it's been wild. Obviously had to make the transition of, departing a program that we worked to build over the years, and wonderful group of guys that I think is positioned to be very successful themselves. So there was a lot of emotion, obviously, leaving a program like that where you work so hard to get it to where it is, and look forward to following those guys in the future. It's been one of those things. I think that emotion of leaving Cain State has started to wear off a little bit. We have some incredible relationships that we'll have for a lifetime.
Sure.
But definitely at the point now where, really getting excited about this opportunity. I've had the opportunity to connect with some alums, obviously, people in the department, and even more specifically the players, and it's just been a wonderful experience to start to build some of those relationships, and has absolutely got us excited about the opportunity. And, my wife has now made it down. We've had a chance to see the area a little bit.
Big sell right there.
That's right. Yeah, the most important part of it all, right?
I know.
So it's been really cool to get to know, obviously, the campus, but just the Baltimore area in general. Starting to look at some houses and things of that nature to get the family down here.
Sure. So let's back up just a little bit. You are at a highly successful place, Cain State, probably a top 5 team in the upcoming year. What intrigued you? What sparked your interest initially, knowing that you had a great situation already in hand?
Yeah, obviously Hopkins winning the Directors Cup, having the top athletic programs in all of Division III. The success of the department and all the teams in the department is obviously just incredible. So the ability to, work with leaders in the industry, to have the type of success that programs at Hopkins typically have, to be in a position year in, year out where, you can have programs that compete for a national championship. Sure. The ability to sustain that success, I think, was very intriguing at a place like Hopkins. Cain State, those guys, like you said, they're probably as good as anybody in the country this year. That roster is in a really good place and some really good guys. But I just think Hopkins is unique in terms of their ability to consistently compete for national championships across the board. There's not many programs, departments in the country that are set up the way Hopkins is.
So you mentioned relationships, and you talked about programs that have exceeded at a high level here, and one of them is men's basketball, coming off a Sweet 16 trip this past year. And you've gotten to meet a couple players that you mentioned. I know 2 of those guys, Sidney Dybel and Carson James. Just kind of what have you learned about them, and what have you learned about the team that you'll have coming back that really excites you?
Yeah, incredible foundation left by, Coach Leffler and his staff. Just a wonderful group of young men and obviously terrific players. I think the exciting thing about the 2 situations, right, is I think when you have strong cultures in both places, there's a lot of similarities. And it's a transition going from a team that lost in the Sweet 16 to going to a team that lost to the Sweet 16, with both programs having the goal of winning a national championship. Sure. So what you're trying to do is really the same thing, elevate the program to take that next step. And on my end, it's just really learning what that foundation is like and having conversations. I'm almost through the entire roster, having some really good conversations with the players. And you can see a lot of similarities in terms of, just the things that it takes to build a strong culture and have great young men that are in a position to take that next step to compete for a national championship. Obviously last year they were probably a call away from, really having that opportunity.
We remember.
Yep,
we remember.
I'm sure you do. I didn't mean to bring that up.
No,
but,
that's okay. That's okay.
But it's been absolutely wonderful getting to know the guys, and it's been an exciting part of the process that's really helped with the transition because they're just great young men, and from what I've seen so far on film, great players as well.
So now that you've told me a little bit about your impression of them, what can they expect from Ryan Cain, the head coach?
Yeah, I think a good person, a good person that, has energy every day. I'll come to work and I'll work really hard. I think they'll notice that, they're going to put the time in and that I'll put the time in. But I'll care about them as people. I'll care about them as players. I'll care more about their success when they leave here than the success while they're here on the court. I think they'll find someone with tremendous energy. I'm not sure they've had a coach that's paced the sideline the way that I pace the sideline. Okay. I think that'll carry over from Cain State to Hopkins. I think I can be calm during games, but I think I do bring an energy that is at a high level. I'm sure, Coach Leffler had his own energy and presented it in his own way. And I think what you'll see my way is to get up and down the sideline, unlike most coaches.
Well, right across from you, we have this little gathering of guys, the Goldfarb gang. So I know they're anxious to meet you when the time comes around in November. So speaking of the Goldfarb gang and our fans, what can our fans expect? What will they see on the court here in Goldfarb and in the coming years from a Ryan Cain coach team?
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited for that environment. I'm coming from a place where the community, the campus support is absolutely through the roof. And I'm excited to come to another place where that campus support specifically is through the roof.
Sure.
You know, I think that group is very unique in something different that I'll get to experience that may not even align with what I've experienced at Keene State.
Sure.
So I very much want to engage. I want to support. I want to be a presence in the athletic department, going to games and really getting to know our student athletes so that there is that connection when it comes to game time.
Now, we talked a little bit about the guys you'll be returning and the team we have in place coming this year, but I know you've been here for less than 2 weeks and you've already been hot on the recruiting trail. Tell us about, the type of student athlete you're looking to bring in and how that person fits into what you're hoping to build here.
Yeah, I mean, from my short time, I've gotten the sense that, student athletes are role models on campus, that student athletes are they have strong relationships with one another. I mentioned that I think you can expect me to be a good person. I think the program is in a really good place with a bunch of good people. So that first and foremost is something that we're looking for. Obviously, we're looking for the most competitive students in the classroom and the most competitive players on the court. There's still an element at Division III where you have to be intrinsically motivated. So you want to find guys that love basketball, but obviously want to be equally as competitive in the classroom and represent the program and the department on campus at the highest level.
Again, Ryan Cain, 17th men's basketball coach in Johns Hopkins history, replaces Josh Leffler, who moved on to the University of Cincinnati. You add your name to Josh Leffler, Bill Nelson, and Jim Valvano as head coaches in Johns Hopkins history. Stay tuned to hopkinsports.com for everything Blue Jay basketball as we embark on the Ryan Cain era here at Homewood.